Today I will be discussing third unit topic central forces and what are central forces. Today I'll give a brief introduction of central forces. How many types of forces are on the system? How many types of forces are acting on a body? Number of forces acting on a body or number of forces acting on a system. Motion and its characteristics of every body or system will depend upon the force acting on it. The equation of motion can be written as the equation of motion can be written only if the force acting on it are known. In this universe, the force acting on system are classified into four categories. They are nuclear force, weak interaction forces, electromagnetic force, gravitational force. What is nuclear force? Nuclear forces are force acting between the nucleons of the nucleus. The protons and neutrons of the nucleus are very strong bound to the nucleus and very positive charge. Therefore, they are highly stable. As the magnitude of the nuclear force is very high, the fission of the nucleus requires high energies. Again, we have weak interaction force also in nuclear forces. We have weak interaction force. These interaction forces are during reaction, consist of elementary particles like electron, leptons, muons, neutrons. The force between two elementary particles are weak, so they are classified as weak force, and they are termed as weak interaction forces. Weak electromagnetic force, another type of forces are called electromagnetic force. These forces arise due to charged particles of the matter. So, electromagnetic force, electron revolving in the nucleus to atoms when they are combined mutually. The material properties like elasticity, viscosity, and the tensions arise due to the electromagnetic force. This brings up electromagnetic force. So today, my brief discussion will be on this. Among the forces, the strength of the gravitational force is less. However, due to gravitational force, all the mass systems in the universe are attracted by each other and are conserved. This is known as Newton's universal laws of gravitation. Gravitational, F is equal to G m1 m2 by d square. That G is the universal gravitation constant, and we are all stable, and the universe is all attracted by each other. When they're attracting between Earth and Moon, Earth and Sun. So among all this, for the strength of the gravitational force is less. However, due to this gravitational force, we are stable. These weak forces and the nuclear force are confined to a very small distance. The range of this force is in the order of 10 to the power minus 13 seconds. So these are short range forces. Out of these forces, some of them are called central forces. The central force will have certain characteristics. So central force is also a weak force, and it will have some characteristics. Before going to central force, we define what is a central force. If a force is acting either towards or directed away from a fixed body, the force is either directed towards or directed away from a fixed point, and its magnitude depends upon the radius vector. Such forces are called central forces. The force, once again, I define, the force is either directed towards or directed away from a fixed point, and its magnitude depends upon the radius vector. Such forces are called central force. So, example of central force is a conservative force. Example of central force is a conservative force. We see that it is a conservative or non-conservative. in the coming topics, in the coming slides, we will see whether it is a conservative, central force is a conservative or non-conservative, we'll prove it. Such force which depends upon the radius vector and is direct upward toward, direct towards or away from the fixed point, the resultant motion can be explained in terms of polar coordinates rather than rectangular coordinates. So if we take this figure, so we take the motion of a particle under the under a central force. Here on the coordinate axis, y-axis, we are considering point P from the origin particle under the influence force. The position vector of the vector according to Cartesian is represented by small r, and force is directed if it's called F bar. This here, and what is this? What is this? This OP vector is given by we are considering only two coordinates. The OP vector is the radius vector or position vector. It is consists of xi plus yj. In the frame, polar coordinates of the in frame of polar coordinates, the position vector OP is nothing but r hat is nothing but r into r hat. R is a r cap is nothing but r cap is unit vector along the OP direction. This unit vector, radius vector, gives the direction, shows the direction, which direction it is. Now in the figure, it is moving along the OP direction. The central force in polar coordinates can be, therefore, the central force in polar coordinates can be written as capital F is a function of F bar into R cap. R cap. Now we can represent a central force. Capital F is nothing but a function of R. The force is always dependent upon distance from the fixed point towards or away, and into this we given the direction by R cap. So direction is also important. Therefore, the central force is a function of distance of R of the particle from the fixed point. Central force is a function of the particle or of the particle from fixed point. Examples of central forces we see here. Examples of central force. We have some gravitational force also. Gravitational force is also an example. Gravitational force, electrostatic force, electric force. These are all called the central force. Examples of central force. We can give an example. First, we see the gravitational force. As before, I told you, the gravitational force between two objects, small m of mass capital M, small m, is proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional square of the distance between them. If the two objects of mass capital M and small m are separated by distance r, then force is directly proportional to product of the masses capital M into small m, inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. F is proportional to 1 by r square. Combining equations 1 and 2, F is proportional to capital M small m by r square. If we remove the proportionality constant, we get F is equal to Gm m by r square. G is nothing but constant. It is called universal gravitation constant. So the direction, for representing direction, F is written as Gm capital M small m by r square into r cap. Where is r cap? This is known as the a gravitational force represented represented as a central force. Similarly, electrostatic force also we can show it as a central force. The electrostatic charges between two charges Q1, Q2 is proportional to the product of the charge and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. If two charges Q and Q2 are separated by distance R, a force is directly proportional to product of the charge Q1, Q2, and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. From the 4 and 5 equations, F is proportional to Q1, Q2 by R square into R cap. So if you remove the proportional constant, we can write it. F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1, Q2 by R square into R cap, where epsilon naught is called the permittivity constant. Similarly, elastic force, force acting on a mass attached to a spring is proportional to the distance of the mass from the unstretched position of the spring. The force acting on the mass attached to spring is proportional to the distance of the mass from unstrict position. So we are elongating by pulling the spring, by pulling the spring, then pulling the mass of the spring by with the mass of the spring, then force is directly proportional to negative of displacement. So F is proportional to x, F is equal to minus kx. This shows we are it is moving away from the away from the fixed point, away from the rest point. So we are represented to minus s. Now F is equal to minus kx. K is spring constant. Spring constant. So the elastic forces, gravitational force, electrostatic force can be shown as a central force form. Now, what are the characteristics of central forces? Characteristics of central forces are, first, they are conservative nature of force. Conservative. What is conservative? The work done around the closed path is zero. Then, if it work done in the closed path, that is, the particle moving from A to B and B to A, the resultant work done is zero. It is called a central. It is called a conservative force. Now we have to show that central force also behave as a conservative nature. When a force makes the particles to move from one position to another, it has to do some work. If the work done depends only on the position of the points and does not depend on its path, such forces are called conservative force. So once again, I repeat, if the work done depends on the position of the points and does not depend upon path which it traverses, such forces are called conservative force. The work done by the force depend upon the path followed by the particle. The force is said to be non-conservative. According to laws of vectors, force is conservative only when it is irrotational. Force is conservative only when it is irrotational. The curl of irrotational vector is zero. We have studied earlier. First, we read this vector analysis. From the equation of the definition of central force is represented by capital F is equal to F of R into R cap. Curl of a central force, curl of capital F is equal to curl of function of R into R cap. By using the vector theorem, it is nothing but del of phi cross A. Del cross phi A is equal to del phi cross A plus phi into del cross A. So therefore, we can write it. We can write about the central force cross product of the force. Del curl F is equal to del F R cross R plus F R bracket open del cross R del cross R. So now, but del FR is equal to F dash R by R into R. So curl of F is equal to F dash R by R to R cross into R cross plus F of R into del cross R. So we know that R cross R is equal to 0. Curl of R is also 0. Radius vector is also 0. So curl F is equal to 0. So these central forces are irrotational and they are all conservative. Once again, we see that what is the conservative force. We see that what the theorem. We are taking the curl of a force, and the force is represented by F of R at R cap. Using the vector relationship, we substitute the values here and found out the values of del FR cross R plus FR into del cross R. So from this, we can have the substituting the values. Del of FR is equal to del F dash R by R into R. That substituting value, we get curl of F is equal to 0. This implies that central forces are rotational and they are conservative. Similarly, we have taken another case, conservation of angular momentum. If no external torque acts on a body, rotating about a fixed point, no external torque acts on a body about a rotating point, rotating about a fixed point, the angular momentum of the body remains constant. Once again, I repeat, if no external torque acts on a body rotating about a fixed point, the angular moment of the body remains constant. This is known as law of conservation of angular momentum. When a body is rotating about the x-axis, the torque acting on it is called tau. Tau is called R cross F. Substituting in the above equation, tau is equal to for capital F, we are writing FR into R cap, R cross. So RR, so here RR into FR R cap, capital R is nothing but RR. So R FR into R cross R vector. In a vector calculus, we had proved it while solving the problem also. It is R cross R. Cross product of both vectors, same vector is 0. So tau is 0. We show that by torque acting on a body is equal to rate of change of angular momentum. If J is the angular momentum, tau is dJ by d2. Therefore, torque acting on a central force, torque due to central force is equal to 0. When tau is equal to 0, torque acting on a central force is equal to 0. Therefore, dJ by dt is equal to 0, and J is a constant. J is a constant. Because J is a constant. J is a constant. So for a particle rotating about the axis due to central force, the angular moment is constant, both its magnitude direction. This is called conservation of angular momentum. Now another heading, we have to show that in the introduction classes, with central force is equal to negative gradient of potential G. Central force, very important question. We have to show in a short, this can be asked in a short question. Central force is equal to negative gradient of potential energy. The work done in the central force is equal to increase in potential energy of the body. For example, potential of the body on the earth is 0. By keeping the body at a certain height against the gravitational force, increase in potentially occurs. If U of x, y, z is the potential energy function due to central force field, the change in potential energy is, if Uxy is the potential energy function due to central force field, the change in potential energy du is equal to dou u by dou x into dx, dou u by dou y into dy, dou u by dou z into dz. So du, I can write it as a product form, dot product, I dou u by dou x plus j dou u by dou y plus k dou u by dou x dot I dx plus j dy plus k dz. So you can repeat that. If the central force, if capital F is the central force, then work done in central force against the central force is equal to change in potential energy. So du is equal to minus of F dot dr. Comparing the above two equations, F is nothing but minus negative of I dou u by dou x plus j dou u by dou y less old clay dou u by dou z, or F is nothing but negative of I dou by dou x plus j dou by dou y plus k dou by dou z, which is nothing but del into u. So therefore, F is nothing but negative gradient of potential G. So we prove that the central force is nothing but negative gradient of potential energy. F is equal to minus del U, minus del U. The central force can be a negative gradient of a scalar. The scalar field being a function of potential energy. Here the scalar field is the potential energy. The scalar field, the motion of central force confines to a plane. So we have to show that the motion of the central force. Please first see, let us see the motion of a particle under central force. We take the 3 coordinate axis with origin and consider a point Q and point Q here. The radius vector O to Q is the radius vector is R, and V is the velocity about a point P, about a point Q. V is the velocity at about a point. Now we are considering according to equation, the angular momentum constant remains constant. Let us consider a mass m with a velocity about a point in a plane where r is a radius vector. Angular momentum in the earlier class mechanics of rigid body, we got the angular momentum r cross p, whereas linear momentum is p is equal to mv. So j is equal to, substitute the value of j is equal to mvr into n hat. N hat is the unit normal vector, which indicates the direction of j is normal to the axis of protection. Since j is constant, it confines to same plane only. This indicates the motion of the particle influenced by central force will confine to a one plane, one plane as shown in the figure. As shown in the as shown in the figure. As shown in the figure. Now, we'll consider the acceleration of particle and the central force in polar coordinates. In a polar coordinates, what we are having in polar, the particle is moving in the xy plane. In the particle is moving xy plane under central forces. X, Y, M, O is the origin. We are considering point P, which is making an angle theta with the x-axis, and the radius vector up to is r hat. The radius vector is r, and the unit normal vector along the direction of this force, along the direction of center is r hat. At a point P, the point P here, the point P is moving in a direction. The tension is acting along the direction, in the direction theta. The position here, the position vector here, here. The position vector is OP is given by, now we have to find out the position vector R. OP is nothing, the position vector of the above figure, it can be R into R that unit normal vector. No, we have to transformation between two system coordinates, R theta and ij, polar coordinates. So here the transformation by transformation of coordinates, R theta, we can write it as cos theta, sin theta, minus sin theta, cos theta, ij. Separating the components, R is equal to cos theta plus I cos theta plus j sin theta. Theta is equal to minus sin theta plus cos theta j, and therefore rate of change of displacement dr by dt r dot is equal to theta into minus sin theta I plus cos theta j is equal to theta into theta cap. Theta dot into theta cap. Similarly, we have d theta by d theta is equal to theta dot minus theta into cos I plus sin theta j is equal to minus theta dot r. Velocity of the particle in polar coordinates theorem, dr by dt is nothing but v is equal to d by dt r into r cap. In differentiation by power, dr by dt into r cap plus r into dr by dt. So we get the dr by dt is nothing r dot r cap plus r into theta dot minus sin theta plus sin theta j. We have to know what are the components. These are not an examination question, but we have to v is equal to r dot r theta plus r theta dot theta. So this velocity is called radial velocity, which moves in the tangential direction, pt. This is called transverse velocity. PT is the figure which is normal to OP and moving like this This is called tangent velocity. The radial velocity VR is given by dr by d theta. Transverse velocity is equal to v theta is equal to v theta r theta dot theta. Taking derivation of equation above equation, acceleration is obtained. Acceleration AB is equal to dv by theta. AB is equal to dv by dt. The v is nothing but r dot at r cap plus r into theta dot theta cap. Similarly, if you differentiate partially and substitute the values of dr by theta and d theta, so we get a is equal to shown in the figure. A is equal to r double dot minus r theta dot whole square to r cap plus r theta double dot plus 2r dot theta dot vector. So this A can be represented the radial, transverse and radial, AR, R to A theta, theta. So this is about the values of radius acceleration and transverse action. Radial acceleration and transverse action. Acceleration can be resolved into two components, radial acceleration, transverse acceleration, and these values are obtained by this mathematical procedure. The radial acceleration of a long radius vector AR is nothing but R double dot plus R theta dot. R double dot is equal to d square R by dt square, and theta dot is equal to d theta by dt. Double dot means acceleration d square R by dt. Theta dot is a displacement opposite differential of the dt, theta d theta. The acceleration along the tangential direction of P, direction of PT, which is normal to radius, is called. The acceleration of tangential direction PT, which is normal to radius vector, is called transverse action. This is called transverse acceleration. So A theta is equal to R double dot plus 2R dot theta. Area covered by the particle under the influence of central force is a constant. So this by this the particle is moving in elliptical Kepler's laws, and a particle moving in influence of central force in an elliptical orbit with sun as its focus or foci, or here it is called a center as shown in the figure. The particle P travels, the particle travels from P to Q in a time interval delta t. In delta t, it travels a distance PQ. Now, what is the aerial velocity? Aerial delta A is equal to half into R del theta. Delta R is very small. Delta R is very small. Particle moving in influence of central force elliptical. So we got delta A is equal to half into half cross R, half into R del theta. Delta theta is small. So area velocity is nothing but area delta A by delta t. It is half R square del theta by del t. Area velocity, we are finding out delta A by delta t, half R square delta theta by delta t. If I put a condition that delta t tends to 0, tending to 0, then area velocity, the area velocity dA by dt is equal to half R square d theta by dt. Half R square d theta by dt is half R square theta dot. For central force, the transverse component acceleration is 0, transverse component 0, and central force acts along the direction of the radius. That is, from the definition, we know that it acts along towards or away from the transverse component is 0. R theta dot plus 2R dot theta dot is equal to 0. So with d by dt of half R square theta dot is equal to 0, which indicates that half R square theta dot is equal to 0. R square theta dot is equal to constant, is a constant. So from equation dA by dt, half R square theta, dA by dt is equal to half R square theta is nothing but a constant by 2. R square theta dot is h, and it is a h by 2. H by 2 is the constant. Therefore, area covered by particle under the influence of the central force is constant. So we got so many small definitions. Force, the central force is conservative and it consists of acceleration, area covered by the particle and they moving under the influence of the central force is a constant, and we got negative, central force negative, got a negative gradient of potential energy. Now we'll choose another topic, equation of motion of particle under the influence of central forces. Well, how to calculate the equation force, what are the equations, and how to solve these equations. So nicely, this is a very mathematical part. We are using mathematics. We can so from using Newton's second law, when force is acted upon by central force, the particle is acted upon by central force having the dimension capital F is equal to Fr into function of R into R cap. As the force is acting along the radius, the transfer acceleration is zero. Therefore, the particle only has radial acceleration from Newton's second law of motion. F is equal to MAR. MAR means radial acceleration into R cap. But from equation 4.9, what will have F is equal to from M into R double dot minus R theta square R hat is equal to F of R into R cap. So what is meant by R double dot here? For equation 4.9, earlier case we discussed that from the acceleration we have to find, we found that M into R double dot means R theta dot square into R cap is equal to F of R into R. So if we modify this equation, M into R double dot means second derivative d square R by dt square is R d theta by dt. R dot means d theta by dt whole square is equal to F of R. Now if you bring the rearrange the equation, we get d square R by dt square remains R d theta by dt whole square is equal to F of R, function of R by M. So it's nothing but M is equal to Fr. By substituting the value U is equal to 1 by R, U is equal to 1 by R, the above equation becomes second order differential equation. This is a method used in differential equation. So what we get, the equal to d square R by d square means d theta by dt whole square is equal to Fr, capital Fr by M is nothing but small f of R. By using the relation substitute the value of U is equal to substitute U is equal to 1 by small r, equation dr by dt is equal to the second order dr by dt is equal to d by dt of 1 by U is equal to minus 1 by U square du by dt. U is equal to 1 by R. Dr by dt means you take the differential d by dt, in place of R you go write 1 by R, but differentiate it, we get minus 1 by R square with respect to du by dt. We can write it as, we can write the above equation minus 1 by R square du by d theta. D theta does not change the value, so it remains du by dt only, minus 1 by U square du by d theta into d theta by dt. Dr by dt is equal to minus h du by d theta. Dr by dt is equal to minus h du by d theta. Du by d theta. Therefore, h minus h du by d theta. How we got this h equation du by theta? Now, we got in the earlier equation 1 by U square d theta by dt is equal to 1 by U square d theta by dt is put at as h. Therefore, dr by theta becomes h du by d theta. Du by r square theta is equal to minus h, or 1 by U square d theta by dt is equal to 1 by U square. From equation 1.2, r square theta is equal to h. We got the condition, and by writing r square is 1 by U square d, 1 by U square we get 1 by U square d theta by theta is equal to h. Take the derivative of the above equation. D square r by dt square is equal to d by dt minus h du by d theta. Du by d theta is equal to minus h. You take the d by d theta common, d by du by d theta into d theta by dt. So that value does not, you take, it remains du, that formula is same as it is, but you have to write it different, minus h theta dot d square u by d theta square. Substituting this above equation, substitute d square r by dt square is equal to minus h square u square d square u by d theta square. Since theta dot is equal to h square, substituting the above substituting this value in 4-point equation, we get h square u square d square u by d square plus h square u cube is equal to minus f of r. So this d square u by d theta, modifying the equation, rearranging or modifying the equation, d square u by d theta square the U is equal to minus FR by H square U square. This is called equation of motion of particle under the influence of the central force. This is equation 4.14. Here F of R is central, F of R is a F of R. F R is a central force acting per unit mass. The solution of the equation is obtained and values of U and theta are evaluated. The equation of the particle is obtained. What is the equation? You have to remember d square U by 3 theta square plus U is equal to minus F of R H square U square. So H square U square. So this equation is obtained. This above the equation is called equation of motion particle moving under the field of central force. If R is central force, FR is central force acting per unit mass, is solution differential equation obtained and the values of U and theta are evaluated. Equation. Now we define another thing. What is gravitational field, gravitational potential? You know, already know it is the sun earth system or sun moon system. It creates a gravitation field. For a it feels like earth, the moon, earth attraction of the earth. Earth is a big sphere with a heavy mass. The earth attracts other bodies up to a range. The range which it attracts, there is earth attraction is called gravitational field. So there is, if you consider in two mass system of mass is capital M, which is a big mass, and small m is a small mass, a mass very less mass. The system of two gravitational mass is separated by distance of small r. So let us assume the mass of the particle is m, which is a particle of mass m, that this is small r from the center of the earth. Capital M is center of the earth and mass of the earth is capital M. According to Newton's gravitation law, F is equal to minus GMM by R square into R cap. The negative side indicates this is an attractive of the force. It is attractive nature force. Force is always force acting per unit mass is given by force acting per unit mass is given by what? Unit mass is given by force acting. F is called minus Gm by R square. So this quantity is called gravitational field intensity. I is called a minus Gm by R square into R cap. So this is I call this negative mass is given by. So force acting on unit mass is given by the formula called this F is I is equal to minus Gm by R square into R cap. It is called gravitational field intensity. Gravitational potential or potential self energy. What is gravitational potential energy? Gravitation, generally potential is that amount of work done in bringing a unit charge from a distance from a point in infinity to a particular point, moving against the field. But in mechanics, the gravitational portion is the amount of work done to bring a unit mass from infinite distance to a distance r from capital M. Force acting on unit mass F is equal to minus Gm by R square not G mm. Force acting unit mass is F is equal to minus G capital M by R square. If the amount of work done is displace a body to a distance dr in gravitational, is the amount of work done in moving body to displace a body to a distance dr in gravitational field is dW. dW is nothing but amount of work done Fr dr is equal to Fr is minus Gm by R square to dr. So the amount of work done to displace a body from infinite distance to a distance r by opposing the force is called gravitational force. Once again, we define the amount of work done to displace a body from infinite distance to a distance r by opposing the force is called gravitational potential. So VR is nothing but our work done. If you integrate the work done in the limit infinity to a particular distance r, infinity to distance r, infinity to r dw is nothing but alpha infinity to r minus Gm by R square dr. So if you substitute, integrate and solve it, we get VR is equal to minus Gm by r. So this is therefore potential energy of a body of mass m, UR is equal to m into VR. So is nothing but minus Gm G capital M by R. Potential energy of a body of mass m is given as minus gm by gravitational energy of many systems. Now we consider the gravitational energy for a single system. Many systems, the gravitation will calculate for a many particle system. The gravitational potential of two masses separated by distance is u is equal to minus g m1 m2 by r square. This principle applicable to only two mass system. When there are more than two masses, the gravitational potential is calculated by principle of superposition. For this, we consider mass having three. Consider a system having three masses. Three masses. Three masses. As three masses. Yeah, today we'll stop here and calculate in the next lecture, next slide, next time we discontinue here and we go to the next topic. Next class we'll complete this topic and we cannot continue it. We will continue central course in the central course continued slides. In the next class we'll take this.